It's been one of those off seasons where I really have struggled with enjoying the championship, all the glory that it has, as then our staff got absolutely hammered in the days afterwards. We've lost Jim Knowles, we lost Chip Kelly, we lost Justin Fry, just to name a few. And those were some, when you lose your offensive line coach, your offensive coordinator, and then your defensive coordinator in a very short time span, honestly, I got a little bit nervous. I was a little bit worried. But then to see Ryan Day do what Ryan Day typically does, and he just goes out there and he replaces. And this happened last year with Tony Alford when Tony Alford left in the spring. Dumb move. You had Quinshon Judkins and Travion Henderson to then go get Carlos Lachlan, who at the time, I mean, if you guys remember, Carlos Lachlan was probably somewhere around what most people were saying was like the third or fourth top guy. But I would argue that Carlos Lachlan has been nothing but an absolutely A-plus superstar hire by Ryan Day. And so when we lost out, I think I was a little bit concerned. But then to see Ryan Day, okay, let's go address and promote Brian Hartline back to offensive coordinator, back to someone calling the plays. Let's go out and go get Tyler Bowen to coach the offensive line, even though there's question marks around Tyler Bowen and his overall expertise at the offensive line level. We could have gone out to Clemson or Notre Dame and got a guy like a Joe Rudolph, but we didn't. We went and got a guy like a Tyler Bowen. Then we go to defensive coordinator, and it seemed like we were going to be promoting from within for most of what all the reports were saying. Then boom, Matt Patricia interviews. Matt Patricia's the guy. And so I think for me, as Ryan Day has to take this next step in his coaching journey, we as a fan base are going to be realizing there's going to be a lot of turnover year in and year out. I mean, the fact that we've been able to hold on to Brian Hartline for this long tells me all I need to know. I think Brian Hartline is for sure the successor to Ryan Day. He will be the head coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes at some point in his life, which is fine. If we could have a recruiter like Brian Hartline at the top, that's awesome. Now, I'm not wishing away Ryan Day because, listen, we just got a championship and Ryan Day is about to go full on Kirby and we're about to start the Ohio State legacy run. I feel it, ladies and gentlemen, even though this next year it might be a little bit more rough just because we have a lot of young players that we have to develop. But when we look at this overall coaching staff, I think Brian Hartline calling plays, I think if Ryan Day didn't have full on trust in Brian Hartline, like how he had to pull back the coaching call sheet 2 years ago when Brian Hartline was the offensive coordinator, I think I trust Ryan Day at this point. I think all judgments for the way that I saw Ryan Day really have to develop as a head coach this year and make really, really tough calls. Like I said, I'm not in the building. I'm not in the MAC. I'm not in the Woody. I am just here spitballing what I'm seeing from afar. Ryan Day 100% is a guy that I feel so great running the program at this point. I think he's had a great balance of NIL perspective as well as how he constructs his roster. I mean, we didn't go out and overspend on any position this offseason. Like last year was amazing. It was the Wild Wild West. We got Quinshon Judkins. We got Caleb Downs. We got Will Howard. Like we added so many great and elite level players that this year when we're just looking and we're like, hey, we added some offensive tackles. We added a backup linebacker. We added CJ Donaldson. And probably the star of the transfer class was Max Clare for Purdue at tight end. I just have a lot of trust in Ryan Day. So when we're talking through these coaching decisions, I think having Tyler Bowen, who has called plays at the college level, who has recruited some really great NFL stars, whether they've been offensive tackles, whether they've been tight ends, it doesn't matter to me. He still has recruited people that have ended up in the NFL and developed them, which I think is a key play that we need on this team. And so when we're looking at the offensive room, of course, you got Keenan Bailey, Brian Hartline, you got Tyler Bowen, you got Carlos Lachlan. It's a little bit younger, so you don't have that Chip Kelly in the room. But I think Brian Hartline probably learned all that he needed to under Chip Kelly and Ryan Day. Like if he wasn't ready by now, he probably was never going to be ready. And so I'm excited to see what this plays out. Now, going and having a quarterback like Julian Sain probably starting or a younger quarterback, it'll be interesting to see kind of how that overall plays out for Brian Hartline calling those plays. But I'm excited to see what the offense has to be, but I think that's the real reason that Ryan Day brought in a guy like Matt Patricia, being able to have a guy that has a ton of experience. And when somebody were to disagree with him, being able to flash those championship rings and kind of bring a level to this defense that I'm not here to say that he's going to be better than Jim Knowles. I think that'd be a dumb thing to say as we've lost a ton of seniors. And then we also just saw Jim Knowles put up maybe the best defensive run in the playoffs out of any defensive coordinator. So losing him definitely hurts. But I think the way that Matt Patricia has been in his career able to focus his defenses around his players and around their opponents, I think is going to be a key thing. When we look, a lot of people in this area just remember Matt Patricia for the horrendous head coaching job that he did with the Detroit Lions. And I understand that was not great. But let's be clear, no one besides really Dan Campbell has been a good head coach for the Detroit Lions. But when we're looking at a guy like a Bill Belichick, who I look at Bill Belichick in the NFL as a GOAT, and he kept Matt Patricia around a long time. Now, when he moved him to offensive coordinator, that was a weird thing. The offense wasn't great. To be clear, they didn't have any weapons. It was Mac Jones, all that good jazz. But when that dude was calling defense, he was going up against Tom Brady in practice. He was really lights out as a defensive coordinator. So I think being able to put him on a team like the Buckeyes, where a lot of the season we go up against inferior talented teams, and can he coach us to success? Can he coach our team, get our players developed? Because we have a lot of holes on our defense that we need to address. We got a lot of questions around the defensive line. We got great safeties. Safety, we got Caleb Downs. We'll have to see who that second safety ends up being. Our linebackers are going to be experienced. Our cornerbacks are great. But when your defensive line and maybe a safety position have a little bit of question marks, that's going to be something that he's going to have to work through. But Matt Patricia, I am confident in the hire with Ryan Day. And I think at this point for me, in me being a Buckeye fan, I need to just let Ryan Day cook. I need to let Ryan Day cook. He's gained my respect. He's had my respect for a long time. I was never on the fire Ryan Day bandwagon. I think I got a little bit alarmed after the Michigan game. I think as anybody would, we were all maybe thinking, what's happening with Ryan Day a little bit, but I am fully on. He's gained my respect. He pushed through, he persevered, and now this is going to make him, I think he could potentially go on a legendary run. Like we said, I saw Tressel get us a chip. I saw Urban get us a chip, and now I saw Ryan Day get us a chip. And I think it's Ryan Day's time to really push forward and push all the chips in. Can he get multiple chips at this point? Because really we haven't seen that since Woody. And so I want Ryan Day to go down in the history books. I think this is an awesome story. But if you like Ohio State football, if you like Ohio State content, hit that like and subscribe button. Appreciate you guys all so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.